The Ecliptic Falcata. It's a pretty nice looking ship, but it is a little too bare bones. So what we could do is add an extra floor and maybe do something with the nose. Now, before I start, I think I'm gonna go ahead and list off the items that you'll probably need in your plugins list. So let's go ahead and do.
Need some work done? Sure, have at it.
This is a list of the ship mods that will make this up. These are the principal mods that I'll be using. Most people will be familiar with those. And some of them aren't necessarily used in this one, like the Tiger shipyards. But we will be making use heavily Matilija Deratex legacy parts, some sex to do some offset stuff, and better ship part flips and ship part snaps. If we want to use brigs, or we need to stuff a small hab, then you'll probably want to use the habs module, and including into that is better brigs and non-lethal takedowns, so you can then capture a ship whole, including the crew, get the bounties on the crew, which are usually worth a few thousand credits at least, plus whatever they're carrying, and their suits and whatnot. That's much better than just blowing up a ship. The other thing that you'll be using is place doors yourself. Very useful because the AI of the game will put a door in stupid places, making it almost impossible to find your way around. We won't be using these mods, but these are mods that I've included because I use them a lot. Okay, now we'll get back to the game itself. The Ecliptic Falcata. This is a ship you normally capture, and captured ships can be problematic. Some ships are unusable, and some ships will do crazy things like fly away on you. There's a couple things you can do to make sure that you can use them. Go into the ship builder, and the first thing that you could try, go to flight check and rename the ship. Oops. Get out of ship builder. If it renames the ship, that's part way done. That's good. That means you can actually edit it. But you'll probably want to do something else. This is to make sure that when you edit it and you get out of it, it doesn't magically disappear, which some ships will do. To edit it, it could be something simple, like that. We still have a name, and it didn't freeze up or it didn't make the ship disappear, so we're good. We'll fix that because it reminds me of some sort of Escher painting. Okay, what we want to do is go ahead and add some ramps and some staircases. If we want to try to keep a two-story vehicle, then we probably will want to add either more staircases, or we'll have to cut some room out to make a room for the ramp, for instance. We could put a 4-story staircase here and forego the ramps, allowing a superstructure up on the top and the bottom. Or we could put a 2-story staircase there and attempt to get some ramps in there. Unfortunately, if we do that, we've made all of this inaccessible. That's why it's usually easiest to have 3 stories. That way you can have most of it accessible and be able to place our ramps without interfering with anything. Kind of show you what I mean. Let's see. We'll go with the Matilija setup here. This is a Matilija 3-story, 3-way ramp or staircase. You could tell because one side you can't do anything with it. You notice these sides have doors, but not this one. If we do add ramps, I prefer Deratech. Matilija makes ramps too, but their ramps, or his ramps, are a bit skinnier and they don't quite match the width of the staircase mod. You can see it's still a little bit shy, but it comes close. Now, because we've got a place towards yourself, we're obligated. You have to do it. You have to add a door. That is now a requirement. The only thing that you don't have to add a door onto are bays and I believe dockers. When you're going to make a great use of some of these modules, sometimes it's better to keep a copy of it hanging about in the ship builder and relying on that instead of constantly going back to the building menu. Because when your menu gets to be large, it turns into a pain in the ass process. Okay, so that means that we now have access through the ramp into the staircase and beyond. Okay, here's what I mean. If we have a 2-story ship that we want, we'll probably want to have either a couple more spots available. For instance, a 4-story staircase, or we'll want to make some way to get around the limitations of having that. For instance, we could put a couple of hab modules to go around and allow us to access stuff that these ramps are blocking, which is what I've done on my Space Shark. In theory, what we've got then is that, and we could add a hab here. We can't access it, at least not without going with ladders, or the other option is to take this and do that with it. Now what you can do then is when you go in here, you can make a somewhat circuitous route. Let's go ahead and plug that hole. I'll show you what I mean. There it is. Like that. You can go up this way, up through here, and either access this hab or that hab. This is pretty much what I did on the Space Shark. These areas are problematic. They can show through in certain angles, and it looks a little bit ugly. My suggestion is you stick something in there to block it. Deratech makes a perfectly useful slope. There you go. Now you see where things don't quite match up. The Deratech ramp is a little bit skinnier than the Deratech slope. But as long as you're willing to work around that, you're fine. We can copy the same thing here. The nice thing also about having Deratech slopes is they have snap points all around it, or at least around the three sides. So that means that you can attach something where there would normally be air. You can't attach anything through that hole. And this can be a very important thing later on. And of course, the other thing that it does is if you think the ramps are a little bit too skinny height-wise, you can bulk those out with these. Like so. And just continue it up. Now, unfortunately, these ramps don't have any snap points on them except the ends. And that can be problematic. You'll have to work around it. It was certainly problematic when you do landing gear. To work around it, you'll have to be either attaching a hab or you'll have to attach a structure in some other place and then build from there. Okay, that's the first part of this video. We'll get to the second part later.